Imagine you're standing on Earth, looking up at the night sky. The stars look peaceful, the moon looks calm, space looks beautiful. But now, imagine you leave Earth. You go higher than the clouds, higher than airplanes, higher than satellites, and suddenly that beautiful sky becomes something else. Because the farther you go into space, the less it feels like an adventure, and the more it feels like a trap. At first, space looks amazing. You can see Earth below you, blue oceans, white clouds, tiny cities glowing in the dark. For a moment, it might feel like the safest, most beautiful view in the universe. But then you notice something. It is completely silent. There are no birds, no wind, no waves, no voices. Not because space is peaceful, but because sound cannot travel there. If you scream in space, nobody hears anything. Your mouth moves, your body panics, but outside your suit, there's only silence. And silence is just the first problem, because in space, everything is trying to kill you. No air, no pressure, no warmth, no protection. On Earth, the atmosphere is like an invisible shield. It gives us oxygen. It blocks dangerous radiation. It burns up many small meteors before they hit the ground. It keeps the temperature from going completely insane. But once you leave Earth, that shield is gone. And your body is not built for what comes next. Without a spacesuit, you would not freeze instantly like in the movies. You would not explode like a balloon either. But you would be in serious trouble very quickly. There's no oxygen to breathe. The fluids inside your body would react badly to the low pressure. Your skin would swell, your lungs could be damaged, and after a short time, you would lose consciousness. Space does not need monsters. Space itself is a monster. Now imagine, your tiny stick-figure spaceship moves farther away from Earth. The planet gets smaller behind you. At first, Earth fills the window. Then it becomes a ball, then a marble, then a tiny dot. And this is where space starts getting scary in a different way, because Earth is the only place you can survive. Every person you know is on that dot. Every house, every school, every city, every tree, every ocean, everything you've ever touched is now behind you. And in front of you, there's almost nothing. Just darkness. The moon is the first stop. It looks close from Earth, but it's actually very far away. If Earth was a basketball, the moon would be a small tennis ball about 7 meters away. That is a lot of empty space. And the moon itself is not friendly. No air, no weather, no plants, no oceans, no animals. Just dust, rocks, craters, and shadows. Some parts of the moon are burning hot. Other parts are freezing cold. And the shadows can look like black holes in the ground. On Earth, darkness is usually just night. On the moon, darkness feels like the universe forgot to turn the lights on. But at least the moon is still near Earth. Now let's go farther, past the moon into deep space. And this is where things become truly strange. There are no roads, no signs, no rescue stations, no emergency exits. If something breaks, nobody's coming quickly. If your spaceship loses power, you do not fall down. You just keep drifting, forever. On Earth, if you get lost, you might find a road. In space, if you get lost, you might find nothing for millions of kilometers. And this is when you realize the scariest thing about space. It's not crowded with planets and stars. It is mostly empty, really empty. The distances are so huge that human brains almost cannot understand them. Mars looks close in the pictures, but in reality, it is far away, very far away. Depending on where Earth and Mars are, the journey can take months. That means if you're halfway to Mars and something goes wrong, you're not a person in trouble. You are a tiny dot trapped between worlds. Now the sun looks smaller, Earth is far behind, and space gets darker. But darkness is not the only danger. There's radiation. On Earth, we're protected by the atmosphere and magnetic field. In deep space, dangerous particles from the sun and from outside the solar system can pass through your spacecraft. Some radiation can damage cells. Some can increase cancer risk. And a big solar storm could be extremely dangerous for astronauts. So even if space looks empty, invisible things are still flying through it. Then come the rocks, tiny pieces of dust, small meteoroids, broken pieces of old spacecraft. They may look harmless, but in space even a tiny object can move incredibly fast. A small piece of metal traveling at high speed can hit like a bullet. Imagine your spaceship being damaged by something smaller than a coin. Not a giant asteroid, not a dramatic explosion, just a tiny piece of space junk going way too fast. That is the strange horror of space. Small things become deadly. Now you pass Mars, the red planet. It looks exciting, a possible future home. A place humans might one day visit. But Mars is also a desert planet, with a thin atmosphere, freezing temperatures, radiation, and dust storms that can cover huge areas. It is not a backup Earth. It is a survival challenge. a place where every breath, every drop of water, and every bit of energy matters. But let's keep going, past Mars, towards the asteroid belt. This sounds terrifying because movies show asteroid belts as crowded fields of giant rock crashing everywhere. But the real asteroid belt is mostly empty space. Still, the rocks are real, millions of them, some tiny, some huge. Leftover pieces from the early solar system, like the universe forgot to clean up after building the planets. And beyond that, Jupiter, the largest planet in our solar system. From far away, Jupiter looks beautiful. Stripes, storms, a giant red spot. But up close, Jupiter is terrifying. It has no solid surface like Earth. It is mostly gas, pressure, storms, and violent winds. The Great Red Spot is a storm larger than Earth. Imagine a hurricane so big it could swallow your entire planet. And Jupiter's radiation belts are extremely dangerous. This planet is not a place you land. It is a place you admire from far away. Very far away. Then comes Saturn. Beautiful rings, golden color. It looks calm, almost gentle. But those rings are made of countless pieces of ice and rock. Some tiny like dust, some large like mountains. They circle the planet at high speed. From Earth, Saturn looks like a jewel. Up close, it is a giant system of flying debris around a freezing gas giant. The farther you go, the more the planets stop feeling like places and start feeling like warnings. Uranus and Neptune are even farther. Cold, dark, windy, alien. Neptune has some of the fastest winds in the solar system. And sunlight out there is weak. The sun no longer feels like the warm giant we know. It becomes just a very bright star in the distance. Now imagine turning around. Earth is not visible anymore. The sun is small. The planets are behind you. And you are approaching the edge of the solar system. This is where the fear changes again. Because now it's not about planets. It's about emptiness. The space between stars is enormous. If you wanted to travel to the nearest star system, Proxima Centauri, using current technology, it would take thousands of years. Thousands. Not days, not months, not a long holiday. Longer than many civilizations have existed. So if your stick figure spaceship leaves the solar system, it's not going on a trip. It is saying goodbye to almost everything. And in interstellar space, there may be lonely objects wandering in the dark, rogue planets, worlds that do not orbit a star, planets drifting through space alone, no sunrise, no sunset, no warm star in the sky. Just a planet moving through darkness forever. Imagine finding a planet where the sky is always black. No day ever comes. That might be one of the loneliest places in the universe. But space gets even stranger, because out there, stars can die. Some stars collapse, some explode. Some become neutron stars. Some become black holes. A black hole is not just a hole. It is a place where gravity becomes so strong that nothing can escape once it gets too close. Not even light. From far away, a black hole might be invisible. You might not know it is there until you see what it does to the things around it. Gas spinning, stars bending, light twisting. If you get too close, gravity will pull you harder on one part of your body than the other. This can stretch objects apart. Scientists call this spaghettification, which sounds funny until you realize you are the spaghetti. But even black holes are not the biggest part of space. The biggest part is emptiness. There are galaxies with billions of stars, but between those stars there's mostly nothing. And between galaxies, the emptiness becomes even more extreme. Huge cosmic voids exist where there are very few galaxies at all. Imagine a place so empty that even stars are rare. A darkness so large that distance stops meaning anything normal. That is when space becomes truly terrifying. Not because it's full of monsters. Not because it's too big to care about you. On Earth, we are used to being important. We have names, homes, families, problems, plans. But in space, a human is smaller than dust. A spaceship is smaller than dust. Even Earth is just a tiny blue dot floating in a black ocean. And the farther you go, the more you understand something scary. Space is beautiful from a distance, because we are looking at it from the safest place we know. The moment you leave that safe space, every kilometer becomes harder, every mistake becomes bigger, every rescue becomes less possible, and every direction leads into more darkness. So next time you look up at the stars, remember this. The night sky is not just a ceiling full of lights. It is an endless ocean above your head. Silent, freezing, violent, empty, and full of places humans were never meant to survive. The farther you go, the smaller Earth becomes, and the scarier space gets.